What's up, She Sells girlies? In today's episode, I'm back with my fave and we talk all things ethical and non-ethical sales. It is a freaking banger. You do not want to miss it.
What's going on, guys?
Hello, everybody. Back with my fave.
Yeah, you one and only. They call me.
My favey, wavy, wavy. We have a pretty...
We got a good episode today.
Yeah, we do.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about ethical sales.
Ooh, so like as opposed to like the non-ethical sales.
Well, yeah, which
the
is
inverse of the non-ethical.
Yeah.
Slimy, scumbag.
Yeah,
piece of shit.
manipulative. Yeah,
Manipulative.
pushy. Mhm.
Yep.
Basically what everyone thinks we are.
Yeah. The general consensus of a dirty, filthy salesperson.
Oof. Yeah.
Filthy.
You know the one. The bad breath guy that sells cars.
Yeah. I didn't know they had bad breath. I was unaware of that. I just think of the guys that like stand in the shopping centers and they always have like a polo that's like super tight. And they're usually selling like fitness stuff.
And they're like super greasy. You literally will walk
Hell
past
greasy,
and like a bit of
back
grease will
hair.
fall on you.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I don't know if this is like mean, but we're just joking.
No, but it's true. It's literally true. That's what it is.
All right. Well, I didn't say it.
No, I mean like that character is true.
Yeah. Well,
100%.
it's definitely how sales is perceived for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those people do exist.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And I want you to answer truthfully. Pinky?
Okay.
Pinky.
So ethically.
Truthfully.
Ethically. All right.
Truthfully.
Yes.
All right. Pinky. Good.
All right.
All right. What's the worst thing you've ever done in a sales call?
What's the worst thing I've ever done in a sales call?
Do you need some thinking time? Let's play some backing music.
So here's the thing, right? I have never lied in a sales call.
Okay.
And the reason why is because when I was learning, my mentor taught me something that was very good. He was like, when you get into sales, you never, ever have to lie. I was like, I never really understood what that meant. But I did understand it because the more that human beings have got a really good smelling bullshit radar. It's very good. It's like ingrained in our brain to be able to sniff out bullshit. So if you try and lie, or if you try and do anything, like the bullshit radar is like very efficient. So I've never lied.
I feel like you're beating around the question here. Like just
I don't know how to answer it.
So you've never done one bad thing. You've never exaggerated the truth. Like
No. So my like sales approach, right, is like always put it on them. So if anyone's like, oh, well, like how many sessions do I get? It's like, is there a reason you ask? How many sessions do you want? Like I would never be like, oh, there's like 15 sessions when there's actually like 10.
Okay, not even when you first started, you ever like slightly. Okay, well you're boring. Let's talk about me then.
Let's talk about you. That's why we're all here, right? All right, tell me. So better question. So obviously I'm ticking the ethical box. Right?
Yeah, you're Mr. Ethical over here.
I am. Well, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm like brutally. I can't lie.
Yeah.
And very loyal, and I'm awesome. So, but let's hear your one.
So, okay, I also want to preface this by being like, I don't actively lie to hurt someone, and I certainly never would lie to like make myself appear better. However, when you're new, and this is only when I was new, I never did this as I started to learn more and more about sales. But if you know my backstory, then you would know that I kind of got thrown into sales and it was just something that I was naturally, which I put in inverted commas, good at. So for me back then, what I understood sales to be was like persuading someone to do it. That's what I thought it was. So like I was very much like in like, our program's so amazing, you need to do it. Like I would do that kind of stuff. So the worst thing that I ever did was I told someone that I was a nutritionist.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they were like, what's your credentials? And I freaked out. I literally freaked out. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm a nutritionist. Yeah. And then she was like, oh, okay. And immediately she just like opened up and listened to everything that I said, which I didn't actually ever give advice. Like I was a nutritionist. I was just doing my process, but it was like saying that and she felt better about it after I said it.
Yeah.
Now, I could have done one of two things there. I could have then been like, ooh, that felt good.
Yep.
She liked it.
Yep.
She signed up.
Yep.
And I only said a little white lie that I was a nutritionist. But I didn't do that.
And why not?
Because it didn't feel right to me.
Isn't that what salespeople do though? They're supposed to lie to get the sale? Isn't that the way it's supposed to go?
Well, turns out it didn't matter if I was a nutritionist.
I know, it doesn't matter. See, actually, as you were saying that brings up a really good point. Yeah. So one of my first accounts that I got on was cybersecurity certifications, right? Now, here's the thing. Our label was that we were careers advisors because it was like getting certs to get into a career. Now, people would ask me quite regularly. They would be like, have you got a degree? Like, have you gone through the course? And here's the thing, I can't lie. Like, okay, so me saying people have got a good bullshit smelling radar, like for me to try and bullshit someone, it's like even someone that's radar is like fucking broken and operating would still pick up on it. Like I'm not very good at it. The easiest deflection was always just like, no, man, that's not me. That's not my wheelhouse. Like all the experts are inside the course. Like I'm just the guy that gets you in. Like that's what I would say. And they're all like, oh. Because I felt like in that situation, it's real high risk, hey? Because if I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm a like, you know, I don't even know the fucking terms, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm a
global technician.
Yeah, I'm like a SOC analyst or whatever it was like called. They're gonna be like, oh sweet, so like, what do you do? And I'll be like, who?
Yeah.
So like,
well, it's like, how far is the lie gonna go? Exactly. She could have gone to me then. Well, like, where did you study?
Yeah.
And then I would have been like,
and we've all watched those movies, right? Where like someone,
gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, no, I never did it. I can safely say that I never did. Even like the white lies, and the reason is because I knew the upside was going to be so much worse than, the downside was going to be so much worse than the slight upside.
Yeah,
you're right. Lucky you got off on that one.
Yeah, I am, and I don't feel. I'm like, can we just like? I'm also just being transparent. I just didn't know anything better, and I freaked out in that moment. That's the worst thing I've ever done. I definitely would go as far to say that I definitely have overinflated programs before. Like I've been like, you know, just slight changes in my language and wording, which, you know, I've been pulled up on, but I've never like just flat out, I'm a doctor, or like that. The worst thing I've done is said I'm a nutritionist, and I only did it once and I never did it again.
Nice.
But the reason I want to bring this up today is because there was an incident a few weeks ago where someone was caught out in a lie on a sales call.
Okay.
You know, it's got a funny way of just circling back to you.
Yep.
And it got me thinking, like, we're not doing any, we're not doing any favors to the industry on a whole by doing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know, like there is a lot of people out there who already feel like salespeople are sleazy and slimy. And if we are just reinforcing that through lying, through being unethical, we're only just further reinforcing that.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just had a real issue with it. And I sort of put it out there to say, if you caught, okay, let me ask you this question now. If you listened to one of our closers' sales calls and you heard them just flat out lying, what would you do?
Yeah, I'd pull them up on it.
Yeah.
For one. Yeah.
In what way though? Like how would you feel firstly? And then what would you do?
So for starters, like the thing that you don't get when you're a salesperson is that like you have to fulfill. There is another whole, like the sale is literally just the start of the person's journey. Like whatever course it is, like for us, we got like a 12-month course. So someone comes in on this assumption they're going to be like 12 months of whatever it is, right? Like Brooke personally showing up at your house and like training you like 24 hours a day or something. Like let's just say that's the example, which is not, not yet.
We haven't heard that one
but
yet.
Like you know, if I see that something like that's obviously the extreme example, but like if someone comes through with that expectation, like I'm like, that's fucked the whole thing now. Like we just have to politely let her know that that's not the case and refund it if it's to that extent, right? But the second one is like, there's no need to.
There's no need to. That shows an insecurity in your abilities, number one, like how good you are at actually selling and understanding the concepts behind what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, what people don't forget is that dopamine hit that they're chasing, like that sale, you know, they can get into Boom City and claim it and they get their commissions. Well, unfortunately, in most companies, if you have oversold program or if you have lied and that's recorded, when this person cancels, because they will, because they're expecting all of these things that you said, that nice, juicy $1,000 or $500 that you just received, we're taking it straight back.
You know what's interesting as well, like, and you know, I'm interested to see how your one panned out, but like the prospects that you have to go to that extent, right? If look, you never have to, but let's say you feel like you have to go to that extent, the chances of them actually going through the program, being successful, not refunding, not being a fucking pain in the ass, pretty low, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do you know what was the outcome of your nutrition lady? Like, was she like? I mean, it sounds like it was a pretty like.
She just like, for me, mine was all like an identity thing. Like if I was speaking to someone who I perceived as being more successful than me,
Right.
or was older than me, or knew more than I did, that I wasn't in a position to be able to serve them. So for me, I wasn't actually saying I was a nutritionist because I wanted her to buy. It was more like I wanted her to view me and respect me.
Okay.
And so I said it in a way.
Nice.
I said it because I was like, oh, if I say this, she's going to respect what I'm actually doing with her.
Nice. Okay. This makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
Because this kind of ties in with like, you've got to be the person that they need you to be for them.
Yeah.
So perfect example of this, when I was selling to salespeople, I get some people that are coming in, they're making like 60, 70K a month USD. And they're like, it's not enough. I want to get to 100. Now, who do I have to be in that situation? I can't be anyone.
Yeah, the 100K
I
closer.
have to be like the 150K guy. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to say it, but like, I definitely don't deny it. So if someone's ever like, it's hard. How can I explain this? I'm not going to be like, wow, that's like a lot of money. Like,
Yeah, you
that's
can't be
so much more
surprised
money
by
than
that.
what I make.
Yeah.
So like, if someone's like, oh, it's like 60K, I'd be like, is that like a month or like a day? Like, just playfully. So it's like I'm kind of like downplaying that it's this big thing, and it's like it's putting me up because now I'm not surprised. I'm like, oh, that's normal. So what that insinuates is that either I am making that, or all of the other clients come through that are making that, right? So it's like subtle things like that.
Yeah, but hey, we're blurring a line here because it is 100% okay to have the mindset of someone who is earning $1 million. That is not you being unethical. Where the line is drawn for me is when you are blatantly saying something that is untrue.
Agreed.
So when I said, even though there was like no maliciousness behind what I said, me saying I was a nutritionist was a flat out lie.
Yeah, I get you.
Yep. But however, if I had the mindset of a nutritionist and I was perceived in that way, that's not being unethical.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. I guess that was just the closest distinction that I could draw from.
Yeah. And like, guys, there's also a different, like, this needs to be understood too. Marketing and sales, very related.
Yeah.
Okay. They're like cousins.
Yes.
Maybe even siblings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
There's this famous, or not famous, your boy, Alex Hormozy.
Who?
Don't act like you don't have the biggest crush on him in the world. Anyway, he talks about how you've got to tell people, well, let's actually say the story. Okay. So he has a dog. Actually, I'm gonna scream this up.
You're gonna butcher this. Okay, so I told Brooke this story, but I love that. You went into it with absolute confidence. Right?
I was gonna go for it.
You were gonna go for it. I was like, I'm just gonna let this happen. Okay, so the story goes, right? So this is like a marketing story, and it helps kind of like frame up how marketing works, right? So marketing, like, you've got to give them what they want, kind of concealed in what they actually need. And I'll give you a perfect example of this, okay? People that want to lose weight they want like a magic pill, okay? But what they really need is to eat less shit and move more. That's it. Okay, it's not very sexy. Okay, so perfect story to break this down, right? There's a father, and okay, in this example, let's use a mother and a little girl, okay? Mother and little girl, mother gives little girl a puppy. So little girl has a puppy. She's all excited. She's like, yes, my responsibility. She says, this is all your responsibility. You got to take care of her, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so a few days go past and the puppy gets fleas. So the little girl was like, oh shit, no, this isn't good. Mom's not going to think that I'm taking care of her very well. So she goes to her grandma, right? And she's like, hey grandma, she's got fleas. And she's like, oh, that's all good, honey. Like, you just need to feed the dog some garlic. So she gives, the little girl some garlic. She's like, hey, go feed this to the dog. The smell of the garlic or whatever will get the fleas to leave. So the little girl goes to the dog. She's trying to feed the garlic and the dog just won't take it. She's like, what? What's happening? So she comes back to grandma. She's like, grandma, I failed. Like, I can't get the dog to eat the garlic. And then the grandma says, oh shit, did you try and just feed the dog the garlic straight away? And she was like, yeah. She's like, oh, no. You can't do that. You've got to wrap the garlic in ham because the ham, the dog will eat it. So the girl's like, oh, okay. Gets the ham, wraps the garlic, feeds it to the dog. The dog eats it. Lo and behold, the garlic does its magic. The fleas leave. Kid's happy. Dog's got no fleas. Moral of the story is that the dog needed the garlic. It needed it, but it didn't actually want it. Okay. So sometimes there's like a interesting kind of
Dynamic synergy.
dynamic there where it's like, you've got to give people a little of what they want so they can actually get what they need.
So the whole point of this story was to show that, yes, marketing sometimes, in order to grab your attention and stand out from the hundreds and thousands of shit that you're thrown every single day, it has to give you what you need. It's the ham. Sorry, not what you need, what you want. It's the ham. Okay. The garlic comes from when you're in that sales conversation. Mm-hmm. There's still obviously ham there. That's what drew you in. But then the garlic needs to be there in that sales conversation. And that's how you are the authority.
Yes. And the best thing is, well, you can't tell people they need the garlic. They need to come to the conclusion that they need
Correct.
garlic.
You can't force anyone to do anything. You can't convince them. You can't force them. They need to be the one to want to change. You
How do we do that?
Facilitating that. You want me to go get you some garlic and wrap it in ham?
So we do that from asking skilled questions and getting people to actually come up with themselves.
But also identifying any limiting beliefs that they may not even understand is holding them back.
Yes.
Shining a light on all the things.
Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting when you have that conversation with someone when they come in thinking that they want ham, and then you have a really in-depth conversation. And they're like, oh, fuck. The fact that I've wanted ham so long is the reason why I'm here. I haven't had any results. So let's have some garlic.
Yeah.
Okay. So break it down for me, Brooke. What is the difference between ethical sales and non-ethical sales?
Just don't lie.
Yeah.
No, seriously, just don't lie and don't overinflate the program. It's that simple. Can
I throw one little caveat in here? Mm-hmm. And this is a really important one. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I always had it in my head of if someone doesn't have a super abundance of money, then should I even be selling to them? Okay. That was a limiting belief of mine. Now, here's the thing though, and this is something that one of my mentors told me, was that who are you to dictate whether they get to have the opportunity or not? And I was like, I never thought about it like that. So me and my assumption that they shouldn't do this because it's risky and then maybe they're not in the right position was dictating where I was even going through the sales call with them. And I've got a really good example of this. It was a career change, right? To help people get into higher paying roles. And there was a single mom. I think she had 1 kid or 2 kids. She was on really low income. She was on maybe 50 grand. And I remember she was talking, because the whole thing was I literally can't get out of this. And I was like, no shit, you're earning so little. But I was in that moment, I was like, so what's the alternative here? I either have a conversation with her, we see if it works for her. If there's alignment, she wants to do it, then it's her choice to go and chase bigger things so that she can change her situation. The alternative is that I go, oh no, I don't think that you should do this, right? And then I just pull that from her. So I decided for her, I let her guide the conversation. And I was like, yep, where do you want to get to? What does it look like? It was ethical, but that's one of those things that you've got to remember. There's it's not just about ethical sales isn't just not selling people stuff.
No.
It's it's just doing it in a way where you're letting them do the best thing for them.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, everyone is an adult and everyone
can make their own decisions.
Yeah. So and here's the thing, if I had not given that lady the opportunity, what was worse? Right? She would have just stayed in the exact same position, doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole other element that we haven't even really explored is there are certain accounts that cannot help people. That's even if you're an adult and you want to do something, there are some accounts, and I'm mainly talking about fitness accounts, who cannot help certain people. When I used to sell on my last fitness account, we had a list of medical conditions that we could not physically sell to someone.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that people would slightly bend the truth to be like, hey, this lady's got this that's on that list, but she says it's all under control and she really wants to do this. Can we help her? It's we can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good one.
That is literally just paving a road to failure.
Yeah, exactly right.
You've inspired someone. Yes, well done. But unfortunately, it's not, we through this program cannot help her achieve what she wants.
Yeah. And that's the thing, with this lady, right? I could tell she was so ready to do it.
Yeah.
And the thing was, even the worst possible positions that people got placed in this offer that I was on was 60K plus.
Which was more?
She was on 45 or 50K or something.
Yeah.
So I was okay, within 6 months, she shows up, she does the work. She's basically going to get a 10 to 15K increase.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like that. And then, you know, with the opportunity to get to 6 figures, which is like double her income.
Yeah. It'd
So I
be
was
great to
like-
know where she is today.
I know. I would love to know that as well. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. So it's like, you know, be ethical within like knowing that you're still giving people the opportunity to make the change.
Correct.
Because here's the thing. When I started to learn sales, I didn't have the money to do the course. Remember? I had to borrow it from you. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Yeah. I think it was when we had our money.
No. You had to borrow money from me when you did your real estate license.
I had to borrow money from you. Yeah. But even for the other. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I don't think you borrowed money from me for the boot camp. I don't know. Maybe.
I think I did. Maybe I just had to. It was like
I was your sugar mama for a period.
No, I don't think you had your blow up yet. I think this was like first month, Brooke, which is like $500. It was probably that $500.
Still your sugar mama. Anyway, to ethical sales, my personal view on this is just don't lie. If you feel uncomfortable saying something that is, and it's giving you a physical response in your body, like it's making your heart race, or it's making you be like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have done that, then you shouldn't have done it. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. You know, like I'll give you an example. This is me being really vulnerable. I sold an 89-year-old woman into She Sells.
Nice.
Now, do I, at the heart of heart, think that she would be able to be placed in an account? I actually don't. So we refunded her money. Now, there's more context to this. Like she was a referral from one of the women in the actual program, and she wanted her mum to be a part of it, which, like, you know, I think that's great. But the mum actually wanted to be placed and to be working, and I should have been able to draw that line in the sand, but I didn't.
Okay.
So like, to me, that felt wrong in the moment, and the best thing you can do to correct those wrongs is just to make them right.
Yeah.
So we did. We refunded her. She's still in the community because it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to me. But I just think whenever you get a response in your body, like be in tune with it.
Yeah.
If it feels wrong, it is wrong.
Yeah. Unless you're like a sociopath and then you don't have those feelings. But most of us have them.
Yeah, you just shat on my thought process.
Keep going with it.
No, it's gone. But yeah, that's the thing. Just don't lie. That's it.
Yeah. Moral of the story, don't be the sleazy guy in the shopping zone.
Start to be part of the change. Start to be part of helping sales get a good rap, because what we do is pretty fucking amazing.
Yep. And to wrap it up, to really be really, really good at sales, you do not have to lie.
No. You heard it here first.
All right. Bye.